The Buffalo Bills haven't played their best football yet, but they're 4-0 and just beat their third consecutive opponent by 2 scores. My reaction to the Bills' win over the Saints is coming your way today on Locked On Bills.
You are Locked On Bills, your daily Buffalo Bills podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, Bills Mafia? It's Joe Marino, author of the Herd Mentality Substack, co-host of the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast, co-host of the NFL First Read Podcast, and I'm your host of Locked On Bills. I want to thank you for making Locked On Bills your first listen every day, and a big welcome and shout out to our everydayers. You know who you are. Those of you who never miss a single episode, I appreciate y'all being here very, very much. Locked On Bills is a proud part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Happy Victory Monday to you. The Buffalo Bills defeated the New Orleans Saints 31-19 and improved to 4-0 on the season. Folks, maybe this is the Bills script where they win by 2 scores, but along the way, you're left wanting more from the offense, but they still score 30 points, and Josh Allen still has 3 touchdowns, and James Cook still has 100 yards and a touchdown. And you're frustrated by the defense, but they make the big stops when they absolutely need it, and they win. Maybe that's just the formula for this team, or at least it has been, it feels like, several times here early in the season. But nonetheless, the Bills are 4-0 with a 31-19 win over the Saints. Maybe it didn't look exactly how you thought it would, but there's still a lot to like from this game. And as usual, there's some things not to like about this game. So that's where we're going to focus our discussion. Let's start with things that I liked. And of course, Josh Allen, 16 of 22 passing for 209 yards, 2 passing touchdowns. Did have the interception, but I think if there's a time to throw an interception, it's probably 3rd and 10 on a deep shot. And it's a great play by the safety. Adds 45 rushing yards on 7 carries, plus a touchdown on the ground. So 3 touchdowns and 250 yards from scrimmage from Josh Allen. And obviously he had some huge moments, especially that last touchdown drive by the Bills, middle of the 4th quarter. The Saints just kicked a field goal to make it 21-19. And Josh Allen took over, right? Took the team 60 yards on 4 plays, puts the Bills up by 2 scores with just over 7 minutes left in the ball game. Of course, the 3rd and 5 run for 27 yards. And then the very next play is the 28-yard completion to Dalton Kincaid for the big touchdown. So again, 3 touchdowns, 250 yards from Josh Allen. I like that. I also like James Cook. 22 carries, 117 yards and a touchdown, 3 catches for 18 yards. Finishes the contest with 25 touches for 135 yards and a touchdown. And what I love about that production, it's not like he had a huge play, like a 40 or a 50 or 60-yard play. His long was 15 yards. He was just getting chunk after chunk after chunk after chunk. And the Bills leaned on him like they have all year, and he's been huge. 3 consecutive 100-yard rushing games. He's been over 100 yards from scrimmage in all 4 games to start the season, a touchdown in all 4 games, a touchdown in 8 consecutive games. I mean, the dude's rolling. He's cooking. He's a star running back, and he is just unbelievably consistent. It's to the point now where, yeah, I'm a little nervous if the Bills didn't have James Cook. This guy's a key part of what this offense is. And I just think he's getting better and better and better and better. Handling a big workload. We'll talk about that in a little while, but this guy's on pace for like 380 touches now. And it feels like the Bills really need. They can really lean on him, and he produces. How about Khalil Shakir? 5 catches, 69 yards, and a touchdown. That touchdown was spectacular. And he's made a few plays just like this where you're like, I thought you were tackled 3 times, and you didn't get tackled at all. You scored a touchdown. Huge play to get this thing started. And then he had another big 3rd down catch later in the game. It was a 3rd and 8 play that was before the Josh Allen touchdown run that capped the drive, but a huge conversion on 3rd and long by Khalil Shakir. How about Dalton Kincaid? Obviously only one catch for 28 yards, but it was a touchdown that put the Bills ahead by 2 scores. But the 3 blocks that he made on the Khalil Shakir touchdown, that was awesome. The initial block, when Shakir catches the ball, Kincaid gets the initial block to create the lane, and then he gets 2 more blocks down the field as the play elongates. So, that was 2 huge plays that directly led to Bills touchdowns. So I think there were some really positives on this offense. They ultimately wind up scoring 31 points and have a good amount of yardage and production overall, even if there was that lull in the middle of the game that we'll talk about here later on. There were some defensive elements that I liked from this team, particularly in the second quarter. They really picked up the offense. The offense went in a massive lull in the second quarter. We'll talk about that when we get to things I didn't like, but things I liked was, in particular, the second quarter, how the defense really stepped up. Here's the drive chart for the Saints in the second quarter. Punt, field goal, interception. And then the first drive of the second half, the Saints get the ball and they punt. Huge. Punt, field goal, interception, punt, while the Bills' offense really was not doing anything. So, yeah, I think there's frustrations with the defense, but the way that they were able to kind of control things there in the second quarter picked up the slack for the offense. Cole Bishop made an unbelievable play in this game. Unbelievable. Massive interception. And it was at a point in time where the Bills' defense just really needed that play. The Bills needed some type of a spark. It's a game-changing play. I don't know why the Saints called the Philly special. They were moving the ball just fine without having to run trick plays. They run a trick play. Chris Olave throws an interception while targeting the quarterback. And Cole Bishop from the opposite, he was the other side of the field safety, reads it, takes a great angle, and makes an unbelievably athletic play to pick off the pass and directly tank points off the board from the Saints. Huge play. And he needed that too. I think he's played well this year, but you're still waiting for like the big moments, right? Like a huge splash play, and it doesn't get any bigger than that. The Bills were looking at trailing if the Saints were able to score there. Cole Bishop said no. How about the defensive stop in the fourth quarter, the turnover on downs? Back-to-back unbelievable tackles by the Bills' corners. Christian Benford on 3rd down makes a stop, and then Tre'Davious White brings down Alvin Kamara on 4th down. And when Kamara had the ball and I saw 27 as the guy that was going to tackle him, I figured that they were going to get the first down. Trey White has been a very positive addition to this team when it comes to tackling. His tackling has been phenomenal this year, which is typically not what you're saying about Tre'Davious White. But those 2 tackles in space by the Bills' corners, huge plays. How about Deion Walker? He continues to flash. 2 big tackles for loss. And they're really awesome plays where you just see a guy dominate a rep, right? Dominate the block, make a forceful tackle in the backfield. Those are the ones you get excited about, and Deion did it twice in this game. 2 big flashes. Outside of Joey Bosa, this has been the best playmaking defensive lineman the Bills have had. I think there's probably some consistency things and run fits and all that, but the dude is 1,000,000% making some plays. And so I think there were some redeeming qualities of this Bills defensive performance, which I want to talk a little bit more about on the other side of it, and then get into some things that I didn't like. And there's things offensively and defensively that I want to explore. So, folks, be sure to stick with me. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. Every day we make decisions, but on PrizePicks, being right can actually get you paid. Don't miss the excitement of this football season with PrizePicks, where it's good to be right. Playing PrizePicks is such a fun, simple way to add more excitement to football. You just pick more or less on player projections like Josh Allen's passing yards or Saquon Barkley rushing for a touchdown, and you're in the game. I love how quick it is. You can make your lineup in under a minute, and the new injury reboot feature is awesome. If your player leaves early and doesn't return, it won't count against you. So download the PrizePicks app today and use code Locked On NFL, to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code Locked On NFL for $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. Guys, you've probably heard of Viagra or Cialis. Maybe you've even tried them. But if you're looking something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rugiet Go Long. That's exactly what Rugiet Go Long can do for you, and that's where they come in. This isn't just another ED pill. It's a total game changer for confidence. Go Long combines 2 doctor-trusted medications in one dual-action formula, and the effects can last up to 36 hours. That's confidence all day, all night, and even into the next day. The process is simple. Connect with a board-certified doctor 100% online, and if prescribed, your treatment ships discreetly right to your door. If prescribed, your treatment is shipped discreetly to your door. So are you ready to level up your confidence in the bedroom? Head to rugiet.com and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL for 15% off your first order. That's Rugiet, rugiet.com, promo code LOCKEDONNFL. Make sure to use our code so that they know that we sent you. All right, folks, we're continuing on things that I liked about this football game, and we're getting into the redeeming parts of the defense. Don't worry. If you're mad about the defense, I'll give you that criticism as well, but this is the moment where we say positive things. And so we talked about Cole Bishop, the big turnover on downs in the fourth quarter that was assisted by huge tackles from Benford and Trey White. We mentioned Deion Walker, the 2 tackles for loss. It was cool to see A.J. Epinesa get a sack, Joey Bosa with a strip sack there at the end, Daquan Jones with a sack. His pass rush has been really good the last couple of weeks. And so for a game where it was frustrating, I think you could take a moment and say, well, they scored under 20 points, right? Under 20 points, under 300 yards, and they go 5 of 15 on possession down. So 3rd and 4th down defense, you hold them to 5 of 15. These are metrics you can win with. I mean, if Josh Allen is your quarterback and you hold the opponent under 20 points and under 300 yards and they go 5 of 15 on possession downs, you're probably going to win that game. So it was like good enough defense. Frustrating, absolutely, but good enough defense. The Saints go 2 for 4 scoring red zones and touchdowns in the red zone. These are winning elements. Again, it certainly was frustrating in a lot of ways. But the defense picked them up in the second quarter. You had some big splash moments, and collectively your production against you really wasn't that bad. Now, if you want to say, well, it's a home game for Buffalo, it's the lowly Saints, okay. That certainly looked like a Saints team that got their butt whipped last week and regrouped and wanted to give the Bills a game, and it's a week-to-week league. There's no transitive property in football. You got an inspired effort by a Saints team that isn't as talented as the Bills and went on the road. They get paid too. I'll give a shout-out to Matt Prater as well. Made his lone field goal, made all 4 of his extra points, and he handled his kickoff duties. And so all of that is not lost on me, right? You needed, one of those field goals or extra points was to put the Bills up by a touchdown, right? You had another field goal that put them up by 2 scores. And then handling the kickoffs is a big deal. Like you've seen now twice the opposing kicker not hit the landing zone on the kickoffs, and then the Bills get the ball at the 40, and Matt Prater not having that problem yet is not lost on me. And so I find myself very satisfied with Matt Prater in this game and throughout the course of the year. All right, let's get into the things I didn't like. I actually want to start offensively with running back depth. Ray Davis, 1 carry for 3 yards. Ty Johnson, 1 for 0. You're getting nothing from this running back depth. Nothing. After a year where I talked at length about how meaningful it was that the Bills had this running back room where it was James Cook for like 50%, 25%, Ty Johnson 25%, Ray Davis. Like, what is that now? 85% James Cook at this point? You're getting nothing from these guys. And Ray Davis just doesn't look good. James Cook's on pace for 370 touches, which feels good. He's awesome, and you want him to touch the ball, but also that's a lot of touches. Way more than his usage the last couple of years. you'd like to be able to make sure that you have some other players you can lean on for a drive. I'm not saying like taking over that much from James Cook, but for a drive, that opening drive of the second quarter when the Bills got the ball, I thought to myself, if Ray Davis doesn't come on for this drive, I don't know if he's going to play at all. It's kind of concerning. And I think it's very peculiar how these guys were effective players last year, and now they're not giving anything. More so Ray Davis and Ty Johnson. I think Ty Johnson's always been more of a situational player, but I don't like where this is trending for Ray Davis in his second season. Another item on offense that was frustrating was the turnover on downs and mostly the play calling around it. It was 2nd and 4. And then on 2nd and 4, the Bills give the ball to Ray Davis. There's your big Ray Davis touch. Then on 3rd down, Ty Johnson runs the ball, looks like behind the right side of the offensive line for no gain. And then you go for it on 4th down, which I'm cool with. And it's that shovel pass to Khalil Shakir. Ryan Vandemark gets tripped up by Osiris Torrance' feet, can't hit the block, and you give the ball back to the Saints. 2nd and 4. And Josh Allen doesn't have anything to do with it, or James Cook. You get to a 2nd and 4, a Ray Davis run, a Ty Johnson run, and a flip to Shakir. You're counting on your backup right tackle to pull and hit a key block for that to work. Don't like that, folks. Especially your next drive was the 4-play 60 yards where Josh Allen put on the cape and said, we're scoring a touchdown. Like, you got 17. That's the moment. Those moments like that, you can't be having a 2nd 4 that turns into a turnover on downs and Josh Allen has nothing to do with it. And James Cook has nothing to do with it. And then generally the second quarter offense was horrible. Second quarter offense, interception, punt, end of half. And you were backed up deep in your own territory every drive and you couldn't get production on 1st down. So the first time the Bills get the ball in the second quarter, it's Josh Allen's interception. They start on the 13. They get a -1 yard run on 1st down. 3rd down, you throw the pick. Then you punt. You start with the ball at the 3-yard line. And you actually get a 1st down, and then you go 3 and out. So it's a 5 and out. And your 1st down play after your first down of the drive is an incomplete pass. So you're in 2nd and 10. You punt again. You start with the ball on the 28. You get a 0-yard run on 1st down to Elijah Moore. You get a sack on 2nd down. You're even further back into your own territory. And then it's the end of half situation where you start with the ball on the 3. You know, it's been tough to score points on that drive anyways, but you're backed up on the 3. And then you take 2 penalties and before you can get out of the half. Your second quarter offense was terrible. Your 1st down production wasn't there, and you weren't winning field position. Continuing with things I liked, let's go to the defensive side of the football, and really it's run defense. There were some frustrating elements in coverage, but ultimately they passed the ball for 126 yards. Okay, you can live with that. But the run defense, come on now. 34 for $189, 5.6 yards per carry. It's the left guard's first game ever in his life at left guard. You get the backup right guard, pretty much for the second half of the game. 34 for 189. Kendre Miller looking like he's a dude. Tackling was bad. Angles were bad. Looking forward to studying the tape and seeing what happened there. I'm sure there was some inconsistency up front, but it really kind of felt like tackling and angles more than anything. And then how about Reed Ferguson? Like 2 penalties, has a bad snap on the extra point. Then he got beat on the play that hurt Cam Johnston. That's 4 bad plays from your long snapper. So, yeah, definitely some things that weren't great. How your offense kind of shelled up there in the second quarter. Your run defense was poor. And then your long snapper was poor. All right, coming up next, I want to get into some notes from this game. The inactive list was very interesting. The Bills made some personnel choices during the game that were interesting. And plus, I got to tell you how bad I was once again on my predictions. So we'll do all that here on the other side of it, folks. Be sure to stick with me. Caffeine just got a flavor upgrade. 5-hour energy shots deliver tasty caffeine in 17 bold flavors. Each 2-ounce shot packs the caffeine of a premium 12-ounce cup of coffee plus B vitamins and nutrients with zero sugar and zero crashes. What I love most is how portable they are. You get big taste in a tiny shot that you can take anywhere and get that boost whenever you need it. I've been eyeing the new limited time cranberry lime flavor. It sounds like the perfect one to try next. And honestly, I just love how fast it kicks in. It's sugar-free, and I love that I don't have to worry about that crash later on. Enough with boring, flavorless caffeine. It's time to give your caffeine a flavor upgrade with 5-hour energy shots. Get the favorites you love or be bold and try something new in-store and online at www.5hourenergy.com or on Amazon today. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer that you don't want to miss right now. New customers can bet just $5, and you're going to get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put $5 down, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love using FanDuel because it gives me so many different ways to play. I've built parlays, I've tried player props, and even followed the live lines during the game. The James Cook over on rushing yards was an easy one to pick up this week, and it just makes the games more exciting, and it's a little more thrilling when you got some action to follow. Whether you're a casual fan or you love diving into the stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience better. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Welcome back, folks. Happy Victory Monday to you. As a reminder, we have our new Happy Victory Monday shirt. I'm wearing it here on the YouTube channel. We have lots of different color options for you. And it's Josh Allen flexing in the new stadium. You got to get one of these. Don't let another Victory Monday pass you by without one of these. Go to thejoemarino.com. You'll see the merchandise shop there. Get yourself one of these good-looking Happy Victory Monday t-shirts. I thought the inactives for this game were interesting. First of all, Jordan Phillips gets the call up at defensive tackle. Ed Oliver out. Spencer Brown missed this game with the calf, so Ryan Vandemark started at right tackle. Obviously, it wasn't all perfect. There were some blunders, but I think that's what you expect from a backup right tackle in his third ever start. Obviously, the Bills still had a lot of offensive production with him in the game. Now, Milano wasn't able to go. We knew that. Jamarcus Ingram was inactive once again. But the two, I guess, surprises were Brandon Codrington and Landon Jackson. Brandon Codrington, as a kick returner only, to be a healthy scratch is a tough pill to swallow. I'm sure McDermott wanted to get a look at some different combinations, but I talked all summer long about, does this guy bring enough value as a kick returner only? And it's week 4 and the guy's a healthy scratch because you want to look at some other players. He's either a kick returner or he's not. So Curtis Samuel steps in at kick returner, which I guess it was cool to see him do something. He ran hard and had a nice third down catch on a whip route, which, that was meaningful. Khalil Shakir handles the punt return, but it's a tough sell for Codrington to stay on this roster if, he's a healthy scratch. And then he was a healthy scratch in the playoffs last year. Then Landon Jackson, still inactive. And there's a lot I have to say about this. First of all, I don't love what I've seen from Javon Solomon. So it kind of pains me to know that Javon Solomon is getting the jersey over Landon Jackson on game day, because I don't like what I've seen from Javon Solomon. Guy had a couple of chances to get to the quarterback today, and he just doesn't take good angles. He just doesn't have good feel. And he's limited in terms of size and athleticism. But Sean McDermott tells us repeatedly, playing time is earned. Obviously, Landon Jackson's not ready to go. And that's disappointing. Experienced player coming out of the SEC, not physically deficient in any way. I mean, you kind of watch him in preseason, you realize he didn't have great feel, but again, we're talking Javon Solomon that's getting the opportunities over him. Says a lot about where the Bills think he is in his development, that he couldn't get on the field for this game. Maybe that'll change here. 2 more to go before the bye. I'm hungry to see him, but I'm also mindful of the reasons why he's not getting a jersey. Dorian Strong rotated with Trey White at corner for a couple of drives. I think it's about needing to get some experience for your young players. Obviously, Maxwell Hairston we can't wait to see him whenever he's available. He's got to, finish rehabbing and then also get ready to play. Who knows when that'll be? I would think at the earliest it would be the first couple games out of the bye at the earliest. But yeah, you probably want to get some reps on Dorian Strong, who obviously started in week 1 and held his own and got a chance to play a couple of drives in this game. I think that's healthy. I think that's good. I also noticed that later in the game, it felt like Shaq Thompson was playing over Dorian Williams. And I think maybe there could have been some coverage benefit to having Shaq Thompson on the field in those later in the game, because you kind of felt like some of those in-cuts, in-breaking patterns from the Saints were getting the Bills in trouble, where the Bills corners are playing with outside leverage and you're expecting that backer to drop or you're expecting that safety to close, and they really weren't there. So I don't know. Shaq Thompson looks pretty good to me. He looked great to me during training camp as well. I don't hate seeing him on the field. You could feel him out there. I thought Terrell Bernard did some good things as well, and some of the pressure looks that they dialed up to get him attacking the quarterback. So some interesting lineup stuff. I'm interested, how much more do we see Dorian Strong work in, and do we start to see Shaq Thompson play over Dorian Williams? And obviously with Milano out, they'll both play, but when the Bills are in two backers, will we see Shaq over Dorian? Will that be a theme? All right, let's take a look at my predictions. My first prediction was that James Cook would go over 74.5 rushing yards. That absolutely happened. What do you have, 100 and I got to look it up. He had 117 rushing yards, so we comfortably clear that one. I think he went over 100 yards in the third quarter. He was 18 carries for 100 yards. I predicted Dalton Kincaid would have over 35.5 receiving yards. He comes away with 28. Close, but it's not. I needed him to get 36. He got 28, so that's a miss. I said the Bills defense would get their first multi-takeaway game of the year. They got one, the Cole Bishop play. You know that I was rooting for a Bills player to fall on that Joey Bosa strip sack there at the end to get the second one, but we only get one, so I missed there. I predicted 25 scrimmage yards from Ray Davis. Boy, that didn't happen. He got one touch. Tell you what, predicting Bills offense outside of James Cook and Josh Allen, like, good Lord, I'm probably going to stop trying. Who knows? Keon Coleman has 3 catches in this game. They all look really good, but he only has 4 targets. It truly is everybody eats. It just really is. Palmer got a catch early in the game. I'm thinking, all right, here we go. There's going to be some looks there, but feels like these guys get like 4 to 6 targets. That's kind of the sweet spot. So predicting anybody offensively to go off that's not Josh Allen or James Cook is kind of tough. But I did predict the Bills win, and that happened. So I go 2 for 5, although I was close on a couple of those. Next up for the Bills, home game, third home game in a row, hosting the New England Patriots. Patriots are 2-2. They smoked the Panthers like 45-6 or something on Sunday. I think they had 2 defensive touchdowns. Drake May, a very efficient game. So that'll be a good challenge for the Bills. Patriots have some nice parts of their roster, some good up-and-coming players. Diggs had 100 yards on Sunday. So I'm sure there'll be plenty to break down throughout the course of the week, getting ready for the Patriots in week 5. Then you know what's next for the podcast. It's the All-22 review. I plan on spending all day Monday in the tape, and then later in the day, I'll get you the All-22 review breakdown. And then, of course, if you're part of our Substack or Subtext, you will get the All-22 film from me, where I'll break it all down for you, give you the voiceover commentary, show you things that really stood out to me from the game. If you'd like to be part of that, go to thejoemarino.com, check out the Substack or the Subtext, get that additional content, and be part of the community that we're building around this podcast. All right, folks, there you have it. Victory Monday. Bills 31, Saints 19, 4-0. Patriots up next. All right, folks, that's going to do it for us here today. Thanks for being here. As always, I kindly ask that you share, subscribe, rate, and review. Have a great rest of your day. Go Bills. Look forward to catching up with you again real soon.